Good morning, good morning. Where do I put my phone? I have to be careful what I say when I'm pressing live because I sort of got caught out yesterday going, is this camera working? So I'm running a few minutes late. This thing won't stop ringing. This thing is going to go on silent for an hour over it. I'm just going to find that I am live in the right spot and it's all working before I turn it to silent. And then we'll get going with our project. If you are joining us today with the second, what are we? I don't know. Don't know what planet I'm on this morning. Thank you for joining us for the second day of the Great International Craft Show. Oh, it's been one of those days and it's only 11 o'clock. So today we're doing an art journal page. Just find myself in my feed and make sure I'm working. And not just sitting here talking to myself, which would be, where am I? Am I not in the right spot? Oh. Have I not got volume? Oh, I don't think I have volume. Uh-oh. Means my microphone's playing up. I wonder if that's any better. If you are coming into the chat and you can't hear me, just pop in a comment, because... I'm not just sitting here talking to myself, which would... Oh, no, apparently I need volume on my phone to check that I'm working. See, I told you it's going to be one of those days. So if you are popping on to have a look at me make a mess today... No, I'm going to do an art journal page. So welcome everyone to the second day of the Great International Craft Show. Just got my box of goodies here, so you got something sort of pretty to look at. Hi Desiree, how you going? I'll just move, I'll leave that there while I'm talking for just a second while people pop in and roll up on this lovely Friday morning. So I was going to base all this week around Christmas and do all Christmas projects, but I decided I'm not going to do Christmas today. Later changed my mind, aren't I? I am going to play with some of my new products and they are buried in this box. I was quickly throwing things in here. I've sorted out a system when I'm doing lives. I throw everything but the kitchen sink in a box, well, things I think I want to use, and then I have got them at arm's reach to use, and if I don't put it in the box, obviously it doesn't get used. Now my stencil won't come out of its plastic bag. So I decided, instead of doing Christmas today, I need some time to play in my art journal. I actually had a win this morning, a medical win with getting a, it's kind of long story short, a 3-year long story short. My daughter can now have blood tests in our hometown, done in her special way, because being a special needs child needs to be done in a special way. So I had that phone call this morning and had a win, so I thought, let's have a play in my art journal page. Let's use one of my new man stencils, because I had a lovely doctor call me this morning and said, not a problem, we can organise all that. Here's my personal phone number. Ring me when you need it done. I nearly fell off my chair, because you don't get that very often. So let me move this out of here. Hopefully my journal is dry. I was just coating it with gesso. So I thought we'd have a play, and I'm just going to move, hoping I can see my screen so I can stay in shot. Have I got, oh, I've got my overhead lights on. It's a bit dark. Let me pull up my curtain next to me and then we'll get going. While everyone's coming in. Oh, that's down. Oh, that's a bit better, a bit more light. Yay. 11 o'clock whizzes round. I thought very quickly, I thought it'd be a good time to do a live. Sort of make 12 o'clock so I have an extra hour. So I'm hoping this is dry, and yes, I do stick my hand on my journal hoping it's dry. And then I've got the situation of, is that wet paint or is that dry paint from before? Hi Tabitha. Oh, you're getting a video call with baby V. Oh, Tabitha became a grandmother earlier this year. And baby V, oh cute. Awesome. You can always watch it on replay, Tabitha, if you want to hear more of my lovely voice. So all I've done is prepped my page with some gesso. I'm working in my complete book of cats today. Nearly done this art journal. I need a few more pages and it's done. So I had a couple of black and white pictures here and text, so I just wanted to knock it back with some gesso. And it also, the gesso preps the page so it seals it and gives it a barrier to be able to have other stuff added to it. Hi Marilyn, how you going? Why is my phone buzzing? I'm turning it off. I'm ignoring phone calls for the next hour. I've had enough of them this morning. I've had some good ones and some interesting ones I've got to chase up. So I thought we'll play with one of the man stencil masks that I have released this this show. See, I can't even talk today. What I did discover is I thought I'd use some napkins. So I was flipping through my pile of napkins that Alexis allows me to have a couple out of every pack before she sells them. And I realised we're lacking in the male department of napkins. Like, everything was florals and pinks, and so I sort of settled on graffiti. Don't know whether I'm going to use this one with the mouse, but I love these napkins. Haven't used any of these before. So this was the closest I come up with sort of male inspired. So I'm going to have to put Alexis on a mission, go find some male napkins. Not that I do male stuff very often, but I want to today. So I think the first thing we're going to do is lay down some colour, and then I'm put the napkin on top, because my idea is, I don't know, I've got an idea in my head. Let's see if it works. Just grabbing out my paints from my tray. Oops, there's another paint I knew I had. Okay, so those ones are for later. Black, white and night. I don't know which ones I'm going to use. So I sort of picked these colours in my delusional paints. Delusional. I am a bit delusional today. I'm sort of happy, but then I just got another phone call. I've got to chase up something, so I'm like, we're a roller coaster ride today. So I sort of picked these colours out of the napkins, and my idea is to put down some colour, put some napkins on top, do some stenciling or masking, and do some writing, and celebrate this small win I had for my daughter to now have blood tests in her hometown and not have to travel to Melbourne. Okay, that could be dangerous. I don't know, this might end up in a whole big mess and might be deleted from my Facebook page forever yet. Oh, it's just... Art journaling can be so therapeutic when you're having a bad day, or when you're having a good day as well. So it's... I tend to my journal a lot when I'm having a bad day. Lately it's just... Dealing with doctors and hospitals with a special needs child is just... challenging, I'll put it that way. I could insert a few other words that are banned on Facebook. It's just, it's frustrating. Dealing with any government department. I won't even mention NDIS because they're annoying me at the moment as well. It's just, no government department's fun to deal with on any good day. So I'm going to do some finger painting because I'm really into that at the moment, and I just got orange all over my fingers, so let's just wipe that all over my journal. So these Delusions paints are a bit more runny than the ones I prefer. I sort of prefer the Dina Wakley ones because they're a bit more solid in colour. But these are the colours that I wanted to pick today, so I thought they're sort of my second favourite paints. So I'm just going to rub all over with my fingers. I find using fingers on my journal, it connects you more to your page, and it's, I don't know, my fingers are always messy. Seriously, I cannot keep my fingers clean. On a side note, I was reading, I did a special broadcast to the UK, and you can find that a bit down on my art journal page, and it's sort of an hour TV presentation where you sell your products and stuff, and I was reading through their requirements, and it said you must have clean and presented fingernails, and I'm going, that ain't going to happen. Because mine are never clean and presentable. They've always got paint, or I don't even bother to paint my nails with nail polish because it would just flake off. So I'm just going to lay down some colour. I'm not really drying in between. I will when I get to some other colours. These are warm colours. I always get that confused. So these are warm colours, so if they mix a bit, that's not a big deal. If I go to add a cool colour or a colour that's not going to play nice, I will make sure I dry it off. I don't know, I'm just slapping paint down at the moment just to get my background covered. I don't mind that the yellow and the orange are mixing a bit. I put a bit too much down there. I find I'm very heavy-handed with this paint. I always squeeze out too much because this paint goes a long way. Oh, I'm trying not to actually use one of my fingers that has a small cut on it because it hurts every time I bend it. Okay, let's give that a little bit of a buzz with the heat tool. Oh, if you're interested in the colours I'm using, that could help. I just used Squeeze Orange in the Delusions paints, and what is that one called? Lemon Drop. Half the time I can't read the colours because I got paint all over my bottles. That's obviously still wet up there. Let me find a baby wipe. And see if I can keep my hands semi-clean. Okay, let's go in with our next colour. So I've got, let's go in with, what's this one? Strawberry Daiquiri. I believe this is one of her fluoro range. So it's more transparent than the others. So it sort of intensifies any colour you put over it. Oh, excuse me. I was trying to eat breakfast really fast. So the idea is to have lots of bright colours in the background because I want sort of the napkins to have that brightness to them, and sort of brightness and sort of duller colour, if that's sort of saying both things. But if I stuck the napkins directly on white, they would be this sort of colour, but putting the colour behind them, it should brighten some of the colours but not make them so white. I don't know. May not turn out how I think it's going to turn out in my brain. Often that happens. I sort of have a bit of a plan. Most of the time I start out journaling and I don't really have a plan. I picked a couple of main products to use. That fluoro is very bright. And sort of have a bit of an idea, but sometimes I just start sticking stuff down. My idea may change halfway through. It just depends on how I'm going. And for me, it's not about getting to the end result and going, oh wow, that's good enough to hang in the Louvre in Paris. It's about sitting down and having time out of my day, taking time to, for me, not dealing with the 3 or 4 doctors' phone calls and pharmacy phone calls I have to make in a minute to chase up things. Oh, nothing's easy. It's just to play and have fun. And if I don't like the page at the end, I don't really care. Most of the time I do now. I've sort of, my art journaling is growing and I'm getting better at it. But sometimes I don't like the page. But you don't have to show anyone if you don't like your page. You don't have to show anyone your page. You can close your book. If you really don't like it, glue the pages together and never see it again. So I just want to dry that off before I bring... I'm wondering if I go the blue and the green or stick the napkin on and then decide what I'm going to do. I think we'll go with sticking the napkin on, and then I'll decide if I want to bring the other colours in. I may be happy with not using those colours. We'll see. I'm just going to make sure I've got dry hands. And this is... oh, it's still a bit wet up there. I'm just going to move it out of the way for a minute while I fiddle with these napkins. So when you purchase napkins from Alexis or myself or anywhere else, you've got to remove some of the layers before you can use the napkin. So most of them are what we call 3-ply or 3 layers. Sometimes there's only 2. So you've got to take the white ones off the back if you've never played with napkins before. So what I tend to do is head in past this texture bit on the edge to the smooth bit and sort of just give it a bit of a rub with my fingers. Usually one finger going up, one finger going down, and you can feel the layers separating. So once you feel the layers separating, you grab either side, gently pull, and first layer usually comes off really, really easily. I keep those white layers and do stuff with them. I'll stamp on them, I'll use them as texture. Now I'm wondering if this has a second layer on it, because it doesn't look like it does. Good way to check is grab something with text on it and lay your napkin over the top, and you should be able to see the text quite well. You should be able to almost read it. Yes, Marilyn, only a layer of gesso away from the page you like. Or if I don't like it, I just glue it and stick it together, and it's an extra thick page in my book. I think that is only a 2-ply napkin. So we'll go with that. I'll get this one. I don't know whether I'm going to use this one. I don't think that's quite the colours. I might save that for something else. I like the cute little dog. So Alexis sells the napkins on my website in a pack of 2, which means you can get loads more designs for your money, because otherwise you've got to buy a pack of 20 when you buy them down the street or in the shops. And sometimes they're hard to find as well. And some of these napkins could possibly be called vintage, because they may have been in Mother's stash for, I'm not going to admit how long, because that would be rather embarrassing. Alexis decided at the start of lockdown last year that I had way too many napkins. I started organising my stash of them, so she decided she wanted to sell them, and I said, yeah, as long as you give me 2 out of each pack. And she's a bit of a monster when we go out now, because... Can we go napkin shopping, Mum? Oh, we don't have that one, Mum. We need that one. What am I going to do? I think we're just going to tear chunks of it. Let's just go with that, especially this one. I sort of want it more as a pattern. I don't really want it as images. I could, if I want to tear a particular bit, I can wet it with water around where I want to tear it. But I'm just going to tear it up in chunks. This one, I might be a bit more gentle and actually not tear it up into chunks. Let's stick this down and see how I go. I might not need the second one. So to glue napkins down, I'm going to use an acrylic matte medium, so a very runny liquid glue. Good way to remember it is if I'm sticking down a thin bit of paper, I need a thin adhesive. Just trying to look for a paintbrush that's not all chunked up with, this one will work, not all chunked up with glue. So I just want to have a look where, I'm going to take that hard edge off, see if I can tear a bit of that straight line at the edge of the napkin, because we don't want that. It's all sticking to my fingers. I often open the door to couriers and I have either black all over my hand if I've been packing shapes from my business, especially the chipboard, you get a bit of charcoal on you when you're packing those, or I'm covered in paint and my regulars just look at me now and go, oh, you're arting again. It's like, yep. Oh. Okay. I sort of want to cover most of it. I don't know. Let's be honest, I don't know what I'm doing today. I didn't want to cover sort of all of it up, but I want to cover most of it up, if that makes sense. Let's just start sticking down. Stick and plonk, let's make a decision and not procrastinate. When I don't do lives or don't film videos, I'm the biggest procrastinator around. I will move things around 100 times. I'm just trying to get, there's a bit of caked on glue up the top here. I'm just trying to clean it off because otherwise my jar won't seal again. I'm going to break a nail doing that. I'll get my knife later and do that. It's because I pour it on and it goes all over the side. So I'm just going to put some straight on my book. Now it's stuck on my finger. And brush it out to where I want to stick my napkin. Doesn't matter if I go beyond where my napkin's going to go because this is an acrylic matte medium. So matte means it's going to dry clear. You almost don't see it. Place your napkin down and then having matte medium still loaded in your brush, you're going to go over the top. I like to work from the inside and going out. Helps to stop the wrinkles. If I get a few wrinkles, I don't really care. But it also stops to tearing the napkin as well. Ooh, I like that. That looks really cool with the fluoros underneath it. Really into fluoros at the moment. The girls at the Hillbilly Retreat last weekend used lots of fluoros, and now I need to go shopping and buy some for myself. So I'm going to leave that side for the minute. I'm really liking that. Some of this is going to get covered up, I think, at the end with some of my stenciling, so that doesn't matter. But we're going to put this down here. You only want to go over the top of your napkin a couple of times. You don't want to keep going over and over and over it because you will tear it. Because this is a background piece, if I tear a little bit of off, I'm not really concerned. I can just glue it back down. If I'm adding my napkin or my... Oh! Get out. Okay, take that off the page. I had glue up there. If I'm using the napkin as a focal image, I will be a bit more gentle and often stick it to a bit of paper first and then glue it on so I get a better image. Oh, I'm liking how that fluoro is coming out. So this glue is great for rice paper and also tissue paper as well, and napkins, so you can use it for a lot of things. You can also use it to seal anything that's got a gloss shine on it. You can put this matte medium over the top and it will take the gloss shine off and give your paper or project a bit more tooth, and you can stick stuff on top of it. And it's also good to seal like pattern papers. So putting this matte medium over the top of the napkin's now sealed with like a plastic layer. So I can take paints and inks and stuff and put over the top, and if I make a big boo-boo, I can quickly wipe it off before it dries, as long as your matte medium is dry. So matte medium is fun to have in your stash. It can be quite confusing when you start off mixed media of what this product is, what I use it for, how can I use it, but just experiment. If you use it in one way and you don't like it, obviously don't use it that way again. I think I want a little bit more down here. So where did I throw that napkin? Up here. Oh, didn't want to particularly tear it like that, but that's how we got it torn. Okay. So maybe I'll put this bit down here. I want to do some stamping on top of this as well, I think. I don't know, I'm making this up as I go along. I had a bit of an idea in my head before I started. Put this bit up here. Often we make backgrounds and then we cover up a huge percentage of it with a focal image, but I really don't know which bits are going to show, so I'm just sticking bits everywhere. That might be the last bit I stick down. Yeah, I can't put that bit on. I'll put that back over in my napkin box. And I might actually do the right thing and wipe the top of my glue before I put the lid back on. I've either got glue on my fingers or glue on the jar. I've got glue everywhere now. Wipe the top so it doesn't clog up again. Just going to give that a quick dry. Another baby wipe. I've got sticky fingers and everything I touch is sticky. Okay. Now, I want to go over that napkin with a little bit of paint just to sort of work it in, because at the moment it looks like it's floating. I'm just trying to decide on what colour. Do I want to be brave and go green or blue, or do I want to go back to the 3 colours I used? Let's be brave. Let's go green. What's the worst? I could stuff it up. Mushy peas is a colour we're going for. So I only want to use it in little areas just to bring in, because we've got green and blue in the napkin. Instead of squeezing it out, what I might do is just open it up, stick my finger in the lid just to get a little bit, and Actually, now we're going to get the paintbrush because I can't get enough on my finger. And just sort of fuzzy up the edges a bit. Oh, maybe not. Ah, there we go. Wipe it back a bit. So I might put it on and wipe it back with a baby wipe because I only want it on light. So if I didn't have that layer of matte medium on the over the napkin, I wouldn't be able to wipe this green back. So I just want to bring in a little bit of colour to be quite subtle. I might do the same with the blue. I just want a little bit. Here and there. Just because there's no blue or green in my background, but there is in the napkins. And I'm going to grab the same, and this one is periwinkle blue. It's quite subtle, but it's sort of there, which is good. Usually we don't sort of go and mix warm colours and cool colours together, but I break all the rules in art journaling. It's probably why some of my pages don't make it to the public, because I use interesting colour combinations, but it's making it more grungy, it's tying it in. I don't know, pages always go through an ugly stage. And worst comes worst, as Marilyn said, I will just gesso over the top of it. Gesso's your friend, you've got to have it in your stash for when you stuff things up. Sort of wanting to tone down the fluoroness, but keep it under the napkins. Does that make sense? It is looking like a very graffiti page at the moment. Let's add some stamping or stenciling over the top. Okay, dry enough to move forward. I'd probably dry it a bit more if I was filming a video or doing just journaling myself, but it's touch dry, it's enough. Okay. That's why I find it hard to do lives. There's lots of drying in mixed media, so it's hard to keep running the heat tool so you can hear it. Hopefully it's not that bad. Okay, so I think I'm going to use this stencil. These are some of my new circle-y stencils. I went a bit dotty mad. So we've got a few of them, even though they weren't Christmas. I wanted to start playing with them, so I thought I would release them. So I was tossing up whether to use, so these are some of the others we've got. Lots of different circle-y bits and designs. So they're all in 6 inches, but if you do want them in 12 inches, I can easily do that. Wondering which one I want to go with. I think this one. Because it feels like I've been going in circles, chasing up these blood tests for my daughter. What am I looking for? Looking for my brush. It's over here. So let's add some circle-y bits. I'm going to add some archival ink. The reason for archival, you can basically use any ink, but if I go and add something with water or paint, the archival ink will not move. What am I going to go with? Make a decision. I think I'm going to go with watering can, which is a grey. I do have my block around somewhere as well. So I'm just going to use a blending brush. That actually feels like it needs cleaning because it feels a bit chunky. Mustn't be the one I was using last night. No, that one's not really going to work. Where's my other blending brush gone? It'd be the other tray of stuff, which is over here. Hang on 2 seconds. Oh, no, there it is. It's on my desk. I usually don't wash out my blending brushes. This must be the one I use with archival black ink. It's a bit, the bristles are a bit stiffer. This one's, they're nice and fluffy, so I think I need to go and wash that brush with some soap and water. Ah, this is much better. Because this is quite a fine stencil, you need to get in all the little nooks and crannies. So I'm not looking for perfection if I miss half of my circles or not. Ooh, that looks really cool. I'm basically just going to put circles in the background where the napkins aren't. Just to add some more layers, add some more interest. So I could have easily done this with paint as well, but the ink gives it a bit more subtle look. I never used my ink pads much with my stencils until I discovered these blending brushes, and now I just whack it on everything. They are fantastic. Absolutely the best invention. Especially for fine stencils, because the little bristles get in everywhere. I'm going to turn my book upside down because it's easier. I'm always turning my book upside down and back to front. I'm sorry if the table's wiggling a bit. I'm trying not to. I can't wait till I get my fantastic new desk out of my box. Except it's a two-person job and I haven't had a chance to have a second person in my house to do it with me. When I get that chance, I cannot wait to get my new fang-dangle desk out of the box, and then I'll have no more wiggling. It's so good. So at the moment I'm sort of on a hodgepodge table that I sort of built. It's a bit wobbly. But we get there. Okay, knowing when to stop is fun. Oh, some in the middle, and then we might stop. Sometimes I go one layer beyond what I should have done, and then regret it, but that's okay. I thought it was a good idea at the time. Okay, what am I going to do now? My idea is to... What I'm thinking in my head, dangerous place to be, is to have a row of a blacked out image, a bright image, a blacked out image, a bright image, a blacked out image, because that's been our journey through these blood tests. Is yes, we can do it, no, we can't do it, yes, we can do it, no, we can't do it. No, we can't do it your way. So that's my idea through the middle. So I might add some more stamping in the background just to add a bit more texture. What are we going to do? I did grab these two stamps, but I didn't grab my black archival ink pad. And I don't think blue is going to show up. Actually, we might try... What do we try? We used watering can in the archival ink. We might try cornflower blue. If it doesn't show up, I will have to quickly grab for my archival black ink. So this is a really old primer, just a script stamp. It's getting loved to death. It nearly goes on every project. Tabitha, have you finished your what did you say you were doing? iPadding with your granddaughter? FaceTiming? Oh god, I can't talk today. Now let me see if this is up the right way, because I often put it up the wrong way. So let's just add a bit of text. Can't see a lot of it, but we can see a bit of it. So again, I'm not looking for perfection, just looking for a bit of texture. Doing it over the napkin as well, and lapping over to, whoops, to the painted surfaces. At the moment it's looking like a hot mess, but hopefully it will come together when I do sort of black and then open, because I'll take, this is very strong in the entirety, but when I reduce some of it to black or night, I haven't decided which one yet, I will take some of that away. So this is a stamp set I found in my stash, and I don't think I have a stamping block. That'd be right. Hang on just a second. I'll grab a stamping block. It's way too big, but it's the only one that's in my drawer. I'm trying to have a set of drawers quite close to my desk with all my frequently used stuff, so if I do forget to grab something for a live, I can easily reach for it. The problem is, I've got to put the darn things back. Hang on, Marilyn, grab magazine images of a man and stick them in there, shadow the stencil in. Ooh, that's a good idea. I've actually got this as a mask and a stencil, so I might be able to use the mask to leave this the colour I want it and stencil around it, because these come as the mask and stencil set. I do use magazines a lot. I don't do a lot of men pages, so I'm a bit out of my comfort zone, but why not just do it live on air? Why not? What's the worst? I can make a fool of myself and you never come back and watch a live again. No. Oh, okay. Oversized stamping block, probably not ideal, but that's not even showing up. We go to the watering can. I sort of wanted to use a lot of circly elements in my page, because that's what I feel like I'm doing lately, is just going round and round and round in circles with trying to organise things for my darling daughter. That's all we seem to do lately, is go round and round in circles. If I hear "not my department" within a hospital again, you will hear me screaming from Bendigo. Not my department, we get told so often. I didn't realise hospitals were so departmentalised. They don't like to walk outside their department and do anything out of the ordinary. And I want to add some smaller ones. I'm trying not to whinge too much today. Just trying to share the concept of my page. I'll use the lid of my stamp pad. Oh, that's a good idea. Why didn't I think of that? I could use the lid of, hang on, I could use the lid of my Vegemite jar that's got gesso in it. I do have a round stamping block somewhere, but Alexis, my darling daughter, is helping me organise my stuff, because she says my stuff is everywhere and a mess, which it is, but that's beside the point. This might work better, because that's quite awkward doing the big one. Oh, that is a bit better. Thank you, Marilyn. Might use the lid of the ink pad when I come and do the little ones. So yes, I'm trying to get in the habit of putting things back in their proper place, so next time I want them, they're easily found. You cannot really see this. I don't know whether you're actually going to see this on screen. I might swap to this. That works with the little one. Sometimes I just put them on my finger. Much better. See, I like to excuse me. I like to teach you how not to do things in classes. Don't use an oversized stamping block, because it's really awkward and doesn't work. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to stop. It's sort of going to be there, but it's going to be subtle, which is sort of what I wanted. Let's put my lid back on my jar. The reason my gesso is in actually looks like Vegemite. That's black gesso. Is when my larger tubs get down to be about a third full, I will scrape it all out and put it into smaller recycled jars, just because otherwise it tends to dry out. So I said to my daughter the other day, I only grab Vegemite from the cupboard. If it's on my art desk, don't use it. Sorry, Marilyn, just reading. I was lost in the War-Based Hospital for 10 hours because I got sent from MRI to the ER, not a happy camper. Yes, well, I've been having lots of issues with my daughter and hospitals, and the whole system is just... There's a lot of stupidity in it, and they could do it so much better, but it's like having to go to the Royal Children's Hospital to do a blood test for a special needs child is absolutely ridiculous. But now I finally, I think I'm going to use this one, finally got some sense out of the Bendigo Hospital. And it's not like, Bendigo's not a small town. We've got a population of like 100,000 if you include the outskirts. And so it's not a small town country hospital, it's probably as big as Wagga. I don't know how big Wagga is. And Bendigo Hospital feeds in from Swan Hill and feeds in from Echuca and all those other places, so it's not as if it's like a small country hospital that can't do anything. It's a big regional hospital that just can't do anything. Okay. So, I think I'm going to go have this one open and coloured, then put this here and stencil. No, that's backwards, Melinda. That I'm going to have black. Then I'm going to put this one here and stencil around it so that one's coloured, and then I'm going to do a row of them. Now, do I want night or do I want black? I don't want to totally obliterate this background. I want it to show through a little, but I want to tone it down. And all I get lately is it's because of COVID. Is Bendigo near Tarnagulla? Yeah, Tarnagulla's a small blip on the map, about half an hour from Bendigo. I used to go out to Tarnagulla a lot with when my daughter's grandparents were alive. On her dad's side, they lived out that way, so I know that name very well. It's out in the Berkey Sticks, Tarnagulla is. But yeah, the hospitals just say, oh, it's because of COVID. We've been having issues way before COVID. And they just blame it on COVID now. It's just funny. Okay, back to my art journal. Let's go night because I want it to be dark but not too dark. Just going to squeeze out some paint on my glass mat, which is fantastic to create on because it cleans up so well. Okay, so I'm going to be stenciling with a makeup brush and a makeup brush. Oh God, brain. Come on, brain. Makeup sponge. So when I'm stenciling with a makeup sponge, I don't want to just dump my sponge in my paint and get a big blob on top. I want to actually dab it off and work that paint into the sponge. No, I don't think Tarnagulla has anything anymore. I don't even think it has a post office or anything. It's a very small town. Unfortunately, a lot of the small towns are losing all their services. So I just want to hold the stencil down. This is super important if you're using a fine stencil. This one's a bit chunky, but I don't want it to run underneath. To work the paint into the sponge. It looks like there's no paint there, but trust me, there is some in there. Let's go for it. Oh, he's now got a blue head. I wouldn't mind going to the Royal Children's Hospital with blood tests and simple procedures if I drove a car and I could just get in the car and whiz down there, an hour and a half, 2 hours down the road, and it'd be done. But unfortunately, I have low vision and Vic roads are super mean and won't give me a driver's license. It's probably a good idea I don't drive. So most of the time, well before COVID, we public transported it down, and it takes about 4 hours. It's just, by the time we leave the house to hit the hospital, it's a long day. It's usually a 2-day trip because we have to stay overnight because it's just 4 hours down, 4 hours back, plus appointment time and waiting time is ridiculous. Okay, I'm just trying to work out spacing of how many I want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. I think I want 5. Okay. So I'm going to stencil. This is the mask. So I'm going to put this down. So I'm going to stencil around it. I just don't know how I'm going to join it to the next one. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's just do it. I sort of want to leave a bit up the top, but I just don't know how I'm going to bring it to connect it with the one I've just done in blue. I think I might just fade it like that next to it. I'm going to turn this upside down because it's easier for me to have it upside down than around the right way. As I said, I had a bit of an idea in my head, and sometimes the idea in my head sounds good. It looks good in my head, in my imagination, but you go and try to replicate on paper and you come into all sorts of issues. I want to do it a bit darker. Down here, maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Yes, Bendigo is known for its mining. We were settled by the Chinese couple of hundred years ago, and we have our, what we call our Central Deborah mine. So you can actually go down into the mine. You can go down, I'm probably going to get it wrong, like 8 levels, 8 stories or something. You can go down, they've actually got a function area down there, so you can like book a birthday party. Well, you wouldn't be able to at the moment because you can only have like one friend with you, but in non-COVID times, you can book birthday parties down there and receptions. You can go down and you get a miner's hat and a light. It's really cool. And then they've got a top bit that you can sort of go and pan for gold, and it's a really cool place to be. A lot of the school excursions take you down the mine and get the kids to experience it. That's how I went recently. Bendigo's a good place. We get lots of regional events, actually, and lots of events. Well, I'm back to black, so I'm back to this one. And we have a lot of touristy attractions. I cannot actually wait to go to, totally off script, we have a Brett Whiteley exhibit at the Bendigo Gallery at the moment, and I cannot wait. I think it's on for quite a while. I studied a lot of Brett Whiteley when I was at, Brett Whiteley the artist, when I was at university and at school, so I can't wait to go along, and hopefully in about a month or so my daughter will be up to it after we've gone to a trip to Melbourne and come back, and we can go see the Brett Whiteley exhibition. If she's not up to it, not interested, I'll just go when she's not here. I know, I just love Brett Whiteley's work. I just think it's really, really cool. It brings back a lot of cool memories of being at uni and being at school. And I'm going to go around my black figures with white because I put that a bit close. But actually, I think what I might do is I sort of want to darken this bit and darken this bit, and then I'm going to do a bit of white scribbling around to bring those darker figures out. I don't know, making it up as I go along. Add a little across the bottom to ground them. Oh, you mean down here, Tabitha? Hang on, am I doing this one? Yeah, I am doing this one. 3, 4, uh-oh, I'm going to run out of room. Well, they're not social distancing anymore, my little critters. They're going to be a bit closer together. Yes, I have to ground them. And I want to do some writing on the black figures. I don't know whether I want to do any journaling or just write yes, yes, no, no all over them as we go across the page. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Do I ever know what I'm doing? No. What's the best way to experiment your art journal? Live on camera. Why not? I don't know. This might be a lesson in what not to do, hey? How to wreck a page. Oh, Marilyn, you've been to Bendigo and been in the mine. Bit claustrophobic down there. Yeah, it can be. Have I got paved stencil for a road? Ooh, I've got like a brick stencil that could work. Whether I know where it is rather quickly to grab it is another question. I think there should be one in my stencil box. I'm trying to group and collect all my things together because I'm a very bad crafter. I tend to make a project, then have to clean up my desk and just throw everything I've used in a box and like shove it to the side, and things don't get back in their original spot. So Alexis has been helping me sort stuff and put all my stencils back. So I may be able to find a paved road. I cannot wait to have a dedicated craft space where I can just have everything at reach. I was admiring Neve Bailey's space the other day in the retreat when she showed a bit of her space. Like in front of her she had like bookshelves of stuff that she could just easily grab, and I'm thinking I need that because I don't have that at the moment. Okay. I think I'm liking that. I'm liking how the colour is still sort of seeping through, but it's not totally like obliterated in black. So we might we'll ground them a little, and then I'll bring some brick in, maybe with some white paint pen or white or something. I want to sort of fade. Knowing when to stop is hard too. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Let me clean up this paint before I go and put my arm in it. So that would be just my luck today, to go whack my arm in my paint. Okay, let me give that a bit of a dry. Dry enough. I might just grab my stencil box that is sitting right here. You guys get to have a sneak in my very messy stencil box. That could work as a paved road. I know I have bricks in my range, it's just I don't have all my stencils. Oh, that could work. Let's just pull out a few. As you can see, I don't clean my stencils because I'm really, really lazy. So we might be able to use something with those. That's what I'm trying to do, is every time I use a stencil, throw it back in that box, then I've got one place to look for it. Okay. I just want to give that a bit more of a dry, because if I bring my paint pens in and it's not dry, it's not fun. White paint pen. Now I want to redefine these people that I sort of lost. Oh, I need a bigger desk. Got stuff everywhere with a white paint pen. So I'm going to see if my Fine Delusions one will play nice today. It is temperamental. I don't know whether it's just me. Sometimes it hates me, sometimes it works perfectly. Possibly shouldn't try to attempt to put over paint and napkins and all that sort of stuff, but are you going to work today? Maybe I'll just do it freehand. You going to work today, pen? Nope. No, it's on strike. I think that one's just meant for sort of paper. Let's go to our Pintor pen. I've got to get another fine Posca paint white pen. My last one emptied. This one might be a bit thick, but I'm going to try to do it thin. Actually, I might do it without the stencil. I very rarely put my stencils back on to trace around stuff. I just find it easy to do it freehand. But if you want to trace around with the stencil, doing more sort of sketchy lines in a solid line, because then it looks a bit better if I've stuffed it up. And it will just make those black people pop out a bit more. So this is just a Pintor pen from Officeworks. Every time I need to order paper or stuff for work, a couple of paint pens jump in my order. Awesome. Now we'll do this one over here. I'm not minding if I'm a little off with my sketching around the stencil. I just blame that on my low vision. So if you look at some of my drawing or some of my art journaling and it looks a little off or things aren't lined up exactly, it's just, I blame it on my vision. Now I think I might do, because I put black down here, I think we might go, actually that could look like funky paving. I really want to, don't want to stick the text up. I should have Probably in that other box I had last night. It was 1 second. White gel pen. It was in last night's tray. So I might do some outlining down here. So I am in the Craft Alive classroom at 4:30 this afternoon using some Distress Oxides and my new Christmas stencils and making some cards. So that will be fun. The Craft Alive classroom is actually free to access this 4 days of the Great International Craft Show, which is absolutely fantastic. Usually it's $20 a month to access all the classes, which is a fantastic deal anyway. But you do need to register, so if you want to join the class, you have to jump onto Craft Alive. There is a post. If you scroll down a little bit, I put a post up yesterday or shared their post on how to access the classroom. It is a pre-recorded video, so I do my classes as pre-recorded videos, and then I sit there and re-watch myself and re-listen, which is hilarious, because I usually never re-watch and re-listen to my videos. And I'm there to answer comments, and if I need to clarify anything, or I'm there to throw up links as well. So it's like a live, but it's not live, if that makes sense. Just because I can then cut out a lot of drying time and repetitive stuff and sort of give you a more condensed lesson than sitting there and watching paint dry, basically. That's no fun, is it? So there's lots of classes and lots of things to pop over to the Great International Craft Show and have a look at if you're into sewing and quilting and knitting and all sorts of bunches of stuff. And lots of suppliers have got deals and specials as well. I sometimes put on someone else's class while I am doing some computer work and have a squeezy at what they're doing. That's always fun. Not worrying if this is not perfect, but it's just going to give my guys somewhere to stand on. As I said, I don't really do guy pages very often, but maybe I'll start. I do stuff that's quite time consuming, so I'll often sit here and do a lot of line work on my pages, and it takes forever, but it looks really cool. Oh, if I can stay within the stencil. And some of this you won't see as much because it's on all the painted surface, and you'll see it more on the black. Okay, hang on, just catching up with comments. Do you have MDF or wood Christmas decos with names on them? Marilyn, yes, I do have baubles with names on them. They are on my website I did them last year. Just bear in mind, as I'm going to Melbourne next week with darling Alexis, we're going to stay down there for about 4 days. And then, so I probably won't be posting anything till about the 27th. Let me just jump on and see if I can find you the link. Or I could have taken it down from last year. Because I manufacture all my own chipboard shapes and MDF shapes and things, I can do a lot of personalised things. So you can just email me and ask. The worst I can email back and say is, no, I can't do it. I can't do a lot of things that are trademarked. Just scrolling through my website, personalised Christmas baubles. So these are the ones I did for last year. I didn't get around to doing any for this year. I have been, the last few weeks, or the last few months, have just been super busy with my daughter's medical stuff, trying to get things organised. She's actually having surgery on Tuesday, and it's the 3rd surgery date we've had. We've had it cancelled twice, so it's a lot of organising, a lot of building up, a lot of getting to the last stage, the last hurdle, and everything all falling over. And then waiting on another surgery date and starting the whole process again, because we have to coordinate several things while she's asleep, because Miss Darling doesn't like to do things when she's awake. I don't like doing things when I'm awake either, so it's a lot of, yeah. If it gets cancelled again, yeah, you're going to hear me screaming. So I just put a link to the Christmas baubles. If you don't like that particular shape, the shape of the bauble I've done with the designs in it that I've just released for this craft show, I can take that shape and put that name in that shape. So just email me Marilyn, but if I don't get back to you for a week or two, I apologise. I just, yeah, Alexis comes first in the next couple of weeks, but we've got loads of time till Christmas to get things like that sorted, which is good. Okay, what am I doing? I'm staring at my page. I think I'm going to do some journaling in here. I'm going to sort of do it asemic, but not asemic. Asemic writing means you sort of can't see it. So I'm going to write the word yes on this first man, because I got a yes a couple of weeks ago to say, yes, we could do this in Bendigo. Then I'm going to put no in that one, then I'm going to put yes in that one, because I got a yes again this morning. So it, I suppose I just had to get to the right person. And it did take a few emails to a local member of parliament complaining that our hospital is absolute crap. Hospitals seem to have a mind of their own and just... So we've got yes, 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 and we're just watching out for comments. I am planning on, and I do have some more Christmas sheets in the pipeline, I just, time got the better of me lately, so I just released the sheets I had ready to go. So instead of writing the same word over and over again, I could have written about the experience, which if I was doing this off camera I probably would, but this is quite cool. My nose are getting quite scrappy. I like to have the illusion of text. Oh god, now I can't spell no. I got the N and go, oh, what's the next letter? Oh, for frig's sake. I can't talk and craft. That's terrible. So I like to get thoughts out of my head and write in my art journals, but it's often something that I don't want read if I take photos of it and put it all over the internet. So often my handwriting is very dodgy. It's very dodgy anyway, and it's an element to the page, like from a distance you can't really see that that's yes and no. Oh, Marilyn, that's no fun. It's no fun when surgery dates change, because to have any kind of surgery, you have to get your head right in the right space, especially with a special needs child. And you sort of get geared up to it, then it gets changes again, and then you don't know when the next date is. And my daughter, being my daughter, can only be done by one specialised surgeon in Victoria. So if anything, like sometimes at a hospital, if say one surgeon is say sick on the day, another surgeon can take over and still do the list and the operation. Unfortunately with my daughter, because she's so special, only one surgeon in Victoria can do it. So the first date we lost because he went to Queensland on school holidays, which, yeah, surgeons should have holidays, well rested before her operation. I thought that was a fantastic idea. Until Victoria shut their borders, he did not get back in time, and then he had to self-isolate at home for 14 days. So we lost our surgery date. Second surgery date we got, Miss Muffet was too ill to have surgery. So fingers crossed, everything goes well on Tuesday, and we get there, and it happens. And it'll be one thing off my to-do list for my daughter, or one thing off the list that then we can go, oh, it's all over, and we can concentrate on other things. And the hospitals don't really understand the stress of cancelling a date, and then half the time you're not given a date. Like they say, oh, it's cancelled, we'll get back to you with a date. Now it could be a month before they ring you with a new date. So you sort of, your life's sort of put on hold, which is, well, I suppose that's the way they have to do it, but it's hard to then reschedule things. Oh, Alexis was glad it wasn't on. She doesn't want to go and have it done anyway, but she understands she needs to have it done. And she's also told me this time, if she does not have a good experience and things don't get done the way she would like them to be done in certain little aspects of it, then she will never ever go near a hospital again. And unfortunately, yeah, Alexis is in for a tough road. Just the way it is for Miss Darling. But yeah, so she was absolutely glad. It was my mother that was stressing, and Alexis doesn't understand the amount of stuff we've had to organise to get a few people in the theatre room while she's asleep to do certain things, so she doesn't have to go down multiple times. And it's just, so yeah, Alexis was blooming happy. She'd be happy if it wasn't on Tuesday, because yeah. But yeah, it's hard. And being 13, of course, being a teenager, you can't really have a conversation with them, because all you do is you get grunted back at. You know, teenagers, they don't use many words, do they, when you try to talk to them? I'm just wondering if I want to bring the bricks up a bit more. I don't think so. I don't know what else I can do to the page. I'm wondering if I need to put... No, I don't really want to put white around there. I need some sort of title, but I didn't grab anything like that, did I? Because that would have been uber intelligent. I don't even know whether I've got anything that would work. Let me quickly grab... It needs some words of some kind. Let's just pull out a couple of... Did I grab the right container? Oh, I think I grabbed the wrong container. That would be right. No, they're around the right way. So I just grabbed out my printouts from Michelle Grant's digital packs. Oh, I should have more than that. Ah, there they are. So I'm just going to have a look on here. And she's got so many more packs I have got my eye on. But, as you can see, I haven't sort of used the ones I've already printed and bought. So I'm trying to be good, but she just keeps, some of her designers keep coming up with some really cool stuff. So I'm going to try to pick some, something. And see if I can... Float a dark line across the top of the bricks to make it look like a wall. Maybe put another piece of graffiti on the wall behind it. Ooh, that's an idea. You're full of good ideas, Marilyn. Thank you. Oh, shed some light out of hiding. That would be really cool. Be the light shadows, because this is from her shadows pack. Please remember that endings are also beginnings. No. Hiding in the dark, that's what I feel like doing lately. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know. I didn't know hospitals could be so damn annoying. Oh, I don't know. Hang on. Maybe I'll go away and put a saying on it later so I don't hold you up while I'm procrastinating. Definitely none on that one. What is this one that's all been hacked together? And where I'm supposed to be? Ha ha ha! This one's all about love, not really. Forgive, decisions, commit, contemplate, no. Oh, how about decide, commit, succeed? That's alright, Marilyn, I get told on that too. And that's the thing with art journaling, it's very personal, and what I say to people in my classes, actually, usually my real-time classes, real people classes, face-to-face classes, I say to people, if I make a suggestion for your page and you don't like it, I don't get offended. It's your page to take home and stare with at the rest of your life. I don't have to see it after the class. So whatever you want to do to it, that's fine by me. Because art journaling can be very personal. Oh, I do... Hang on. What did it say? Succeed, decide, commit. Because that's basically what they weren't doing. I was telling them, yes, we have to do it this way, and they were saying, no, we don't do it that way. Hopeful. Forgive, decisions, commit, contemplate. Hang on. I've got something to run down the bottom. The world has, what's that one say? The world has slowed. Oh. Some of these I've cut up and I've got to print some more because I've cut some of the words off. Actually, I might never look back down the bottom. I'm one of these parents. I just keep going and going and going until I can advocate for my daughter and get what she needs. So it may have taken a few emails to our local members of parliament. I got really, really annoyed. So I emailed everyone down from the Prime Minister to the Health Minister to the State Minister to the local member of parliament. I just kept Googling email addresses and sending out a letter. It obviously worked because eventually we got what we needed, but it was just... And I got duck shoved. State said it was a... Prime Minister said it was a state matter. Then the state said, it's a health matter. So they're all duck shoving and basically going, not my department. Anyway, it's just funny. So sometimes writing to your local members of parliament actually get some action. What did you say? Take that up and do a bit of a wall. Hang on, let me read that comment again. Float a dark line across the top of the bricks to make the wall look like a wall. Okay. A dark line. So obviously not white. Maybe white. So down here. If I don't like this, because it's over paint, I can always wipe it off really quickly. Or get my paint out and paint it again. I know you said a dark line, but hey, we're going to go with white because it was the closest pen to my hand. Actually, that's looking quite good. Sometimes I get to a page and I can stare at it for half an hour and go, I don't know what to add next. Yes, Tabitha, that is completely true. I have, I think, met every one of those in the medical profession in the last few years. Alexis has this classic saying, when we go to a doctor and it doesn't quite go the way we thought it would, or they don't really know what they're doing, she walks out of the appointment, she goes, well, that was a waste of time. That doctor has only half a brain. I have to politely tell her not saying that while we're in the appointment. She can express that after we leave the appointment. But, it's just, she's so funny. It is going to be hilarious with her in hospital for a few days. I think I might just have to walk away and say, nurse, she's your problem now. For mother's sanity as well as child sanity, I think. Let's stick these on. Actually, what I might do is do some... Where's my black pen? Oh, Ben, sorry. Trying to find my black pen. I want to draw around these. Where'd my other word go? So I just want to draw around, in a very wiggly square apparently, because I can't draw straight. Sorry if my head's getting in the way. I've got to see what got to be able to see what I'm doing. It's interesting to do a live stream and to do videos because I have to have my project and book a fair way away from where my eyes or head is. If I'm just crafting for me, everything is so much closer. So sometimes it can be, and I haven't worked out how to film without being so close that I need to be to not have my big head sitting in frame. I need coffee and I'll be back, yeah. I'm sure I will be going down to McDonald's several times a day for frozen Coke and frozen chips because that's probably all she's going to eat. Because my rule is if you're sick and don't feel well, eat something. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you eat chocolate for breakfast, lunch and dinner. You need to eat something. But yes, I think I'll be saying I need a coffee and... I'm trying to pack some art journaling stuff so I have some stuff to do. I'll probably take my little traveller's notebook and some stencils because that's quite calming for me is when I draw through stencils and Zentangle and do that sort of stuff, and that's quite small. I can slip that in the suitcase. I don't think the hospital will appreciate me taking my paints and a whole bunch of stuff and sitting there and turning the hospital room into an art room. But yeah, it's nice to have something that will keep me sane. especially because of the way it is in Melbourne at the moment. I won't be able to leave the hospital. They said we can leave the hospital room to go into the hospital to buy food and stuff, but they don't really want us going out of the hospital and then coming back. Never. Oh, the next hurdle we've got to get over is we've got to get Alexis COVID tested again. Oh, it's going to be fun. The funny thing is, I don't get this. This is really funny. Okay, I'm staying in hospital with her for 4 days, staying in her room. So, obviously, wouldn't you want to get me COVID tested as well? Like, wouldn't that make sense? No. Technically, I don't need one. But I'm about to have one because Miss Darling told me that if she has to do it again, I apparently have to do it. So I'm doing it in sympathy, I think. I've avoided it so far. But yeah, you'd think if a parent is coming to stay in the hospital for several days with the child, the parent should have a test as well. But apparently not. I don't know. Weird things they do. So just sticking these on with craft glue. I'm overdue a trip to Hillbilly Scrapping and stock up on all the things I keep running out of. Some of my paints need restocking, my favourite colours. Maybe I should just go on her website and do it. But it's nice to wander around her shop and go shopping in person. Okay. Actually, I wonder if we bring little bits of the napkin out on here. If we've got a small bit of it. Ooh! No, he's half chopped off. Actually, no, we'll go with this one. So we can find some small little bits of writing to put on here so it looks like a brick wall. And then I think we're just about done. What time is it? Oh my god, it's 12:30. Where did the hour and a half go? Have I been holding you up for an hour and a half? I don't have back-to-back commitments like I did yesterday. Yesterday was a blooming crazy day. I had Zoom meetings and I had, well, at 4:30 I've got to sit and listen to myself with the class. That's always fun. And be there for the comments. And yesterday I had a Zoom meeting with England, and then I had to film yesterday's class. Shh! Don't tell Craft Alive I'm a little behind in filming. I have got... Oh yeah, their government, nothing they do makes sense. Definitely. Government just... I think their motto and their ethos is just to not make sense. Like, it's... sometimes they come out with things that just don't make sense at all. And I want a little bit more. So hopefully today I get time to film tomorrow's art journaling video for Craft Alive. Time's just been sucked away lately. I get things done, it's just, yeah, well, they're usually done last minute. I'm the queen of last minute lately, seriously. I would get the award for being queen of the last minute. I might stick those on. They're going to fade in a bit, but that's really cool. What am I going to stick them on with? Matte Gel Medium. Then I think the page is nearly done. I might do a scribbly border around the edge, and then we might be done. Let you guys have some lunch. Nope, you haven't. You made me sit and rest your leg. Oh, that's good. Actually, I'll do it the other way. I sometimes wonder whether an hour and a half live is boring. Often I will put other people's lives on in the background when I'm doing something and sort of half watch and half sort of be doing stuff on the computer or listening. Okay, that's going to have a blue tinge because apparently there's blue in my paintbrush that I didn't realise. It was in... Oh yeah, there is blue. Let's clean that out a bit. Obviously I was using something that was water reactive. Okay, now it's not blue. Oh god, I got stuff all over my fingers. Okay. I do want to catch the... Usually I put the... Although it's boring and just very, very annoying, the COVID... oh, now I covered up the letter. I like to, lately, because we're going down to Melbourne, I like to listen to the press conference. So I usually put that on in the background when I'm doing other paperwork and stuff. Just to make sure they don't do anything stupid like cancel elective surgeries between now and Tuesday. That would just be my luck, really. But, there we go. I think I am done with that. Let's give that a quick dry. Do a border around the edge, then I think I'm done. I could sit here and procrastinate all day, but I won't. I'm trying to procrastinate less and take more sticking and plonking, because usually I procrastinate. I shove these back in here. Procrastinate, move something around 100 times, and then I go back to the original thought I had anyway. Let's dry that down there. Put the brushes away, I'm done. What's Michelle saying? That's enough, pig, that's enough? That'll do, pig, that'll do. That's what Michelle Grant says. Yeah, walking away is fun. So just grabbing up to get... I've decided not to do a scribbly border. I'm just going to touch a little bit of ink on the edge of the page, and then I'm done. Very different to what I usually do, but I'm happy with it. It sort of... It reflects what my weeks and years have been. They cancelled your mum's surgery after a couple of hours pre-op. Has she got a new date yet, Tabitha, or are we back to just waiting? Of course, Tabitha's in New South Wales and they've got COVID way more worse than we have here in Victoria. But the way we're going, never know. Can stay out of Bendigo. Don't want it anywhere near Bendigo. We've been lucky so far, actually. Extremely lucky. I always have trouble doing that. I like to have some sort of border on my page, and lately it's just a little bit of ink, but it just, if I can get it on there, just adds just a little bit to the page. I've got to get it down the bottom here. So it adds something without adding a big chunky border. And I think that's my page done. Hope you ladies enjoyed it. Oh, and Dory just keeps swimming, yes. Oh, no new date. That's frustrating, Tabitha. That's when we got cancelled twice and just, oh, no new date. And it's like, your life sort of goes on hold till you wait for a new date. And then lately I've had dates in my diary and then they send me a letter or something and say, you've got an appointment on this date. Or they ring up and say, you've got surgery on this date. We have a case in Young which is 60 k's away because essential workers have been allowed to travel and tests are taking so long. Yes, I have heard in New South Wales some workers have to do a test every 3 days and they're not getting... They do a test day 1, they do another test day 4, they're not getting those day 1 results back until after they do that day 4 test because they're essential or something. That's not good. Well, I'm hoping we're going to get Alexis COVID tested 72 hours before we go into hospital, and if we don't get our results back, she can't go in, which is stupid. So I've organised for people to come out and test her on Saturday because I don't drive. They originally told me to put her in a taxi and take her in to a drive-through testing centre. And because I legally don't drive, I told them to go walk off a very short pier. The service is there, and we qualify for the service, so send someone out to test my daughter. And she's not good at waiting. She's not good at being patient. So even if I taxied her into the walk-in clinic, like, I don't want her around anyone else that's possibly got COVID or got germs. So I pressed the point, and they're sending someone out Saturday. Hopefully we get the results by Sunday, because we're actually travelling Monday afternoon to Melbourne. But yeah, if we don't get those results, we can't go down, which will suck. And the amount of people, like the amount of tests they're doing now, hopefully, yeah, it's not going to be happy if that's the reason surgery is cancelled, because the government couldn't pull it finger out of their bottom and do an urgent test. And I'm going to tell the nurses we need it urgently. They know we need it for surgery, so hopefully all the balls fall into place. So I think I'm happy with that. Whoops. Oh, I hate this new Facebook thing. We haven't had a case since March last year. Yeah, I don't think in Bendigo. We had a couple last year. I can't remember when. We've had a couple of exposure sites this year, like 30k out of town, because they were travelling up to Mildura or something. But yeah, we've been very lucky so far, and it can stay out of Bendigo because I don't want it anywhere near us. So I'm happy with that. I will let you guys go, and if you're interested in come, do you want to have a sneak peek of what the cards are going to be? There is a photo. Where are they? Yeah, good question. Where are they? I'll give you a sneak peek of the cards we're doing this afternoon in the Craft Alive classroom. That's a mouthful in itself. I don't want to close that in case it's a bit sticky. So these are the cards I made with our stencils. So we actually make a set of 4 cards in the hour. So these are the ones you can see me make this afternoon in the Craft Alive classroom. If you miss, the Craft Alive classroom is free for these 4 days, and my videos will be released. I'll probably release them Sunday night on my YouTube channel and link them to the Facebook page so you can re-watch them as well. Usually I have to wait a month, but because they've put the classroom on for free, I'm going to release them straight away. Thanks, Marilyn. Yeah, hopefully surgery goes all well. There'll be more mother stress than I'm sure everything will go fine. It's just, it's hard to see your babies go through surgery. I wish I could do it for her. She told me that the other day. She goes, "Can't you do the surgery for me, Mum?" I go, "Quiet, doesn't work that way." I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.